Hello, my name is Parker Friedentag, and I'm going to talk to you about a coping technique to stress. However, here is a disclaimer before I get started. The information in this video is for informational purposes only and was produced for a class project. The creator is not a medical professional. The student, faculty, and university do not guarantee the accuracy nor reliability of the content, nor should it be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you have questions about a possible medical condition, please contact your physician or qualified health provider. Never delay seeking treatment nor disregard the advice of a medical professional due to information you receive in this video. The stress we deal with present day is unlike the stress we were evolved to handle. We are no longer, for the most part, being chased by lions, running from dinosaurs, or hiding from predators. Today's stress deals with chronic stressors that many of us have a hard time turning off our stress response. We have deadlines to meet months in advance, but our once acute stress response made to help us survive is now being used for long-term chronic stress. What methods can we use to cope with these stressors? This video is going to talk about snacking and whether or not it can help reduce stress levels. Current day stress is commonly referred to as psychological stress. This is because our bodies stay in a heightened state due to the constant stress we think about in our heads. As Dr. Sapolsky wrote in his book, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, our bodies pump out endless amounts of hormones that cause all sorts of physiological changes in the body. The heart beats faster, our blood vessels constrict, blood flow redirects to the muscles and out of the digestive tract, and our senses become even more sensitive. If we are running from a tiger, these adaptations would be good to have, but we are typically not. We are staying sedentary while our body is going crazy with all these adaptations to make sure we survive. It is a mess that can lead to coronary artery disease, hypertension, stroke, and other cardiovascular diseases. This is not good. In a press release titled Stress and Eating, found that 27% of adults snack and eat to manage stress. It would be beneficial to find out if that helps us or only hurts us further. We can start by looking at a study by Christensen and colleagues that looked at rats and how they deal with stressors after consuming a sucrose-based liquid. The liquid can be related to having a snack. This study gave half of the rats a sucrose liquid and the other rats only water. They found that the sucrose rats had decreased levels of the stress hormone glucocorticoids and corticosterone after being introduced to a stressor. Also, the study looked at the post-consumption stress levels, meaning how long are the effects of consuming the sucrose-based liquid. What was found was that the sucrose rats had decreased levels of these hormones when they got tested the day after, as well as 6 days after. When both sets of rats were tested again on the 21st day post-consumption, the stress hormones in both were extremely close. So the lasting effects of sucrose solution lasted nearly 3 weeks. We have to take these studies with a grain of salt because these are rats at the end of the day. And we can't assume that our bodies handle stress exactly like these rats. Another study by Wouters and colleagues took 269 subjects in ages 20 to 50 years old and had them track their foods as well as their experiences throughout the day for 7 days. The researchers assessed each subject 10 times per day and found that the snacking had a dampening effect on stress as well as negative effects associated with stress. This study mentioned that it would be unable to replicate due to the variability of macronutrients consumed, but the findings of the study give us another small piece of evidence that snacking is and can help reduce our stress. A somewhat similar study by Markus and colleagues looked at 771 college students that were being measured on the changes in appetite and snacking after a stressful event. What was found was that the students that had a sucrose-containing preload reduced the amount of energy consumed when there was an increased amount of serotonin released in the brain. This release of serotonin is part of the stress response and creates a need for the body to consume high-energy foods. To be able to reduce the amount of food consumed by having a sucrose preload is very interesting. Is there any evidence of snacking being bad for us, or more specifically, our stress response? There is one study by Liu and colleagues I found that was a single blind study, so the men who participated didn't know which group they were in. The subjects then received 2 snacks that were administered 4 hours apart. After these snacks, the researchers measured the biomechanical markers called T-bars, which measured the amount of oxidative stress. What was found was that the individuals who consumed a snack that was higher in fat had an increase in these T-bars. This shows the possibility that the quality and type of our snack or foods we eat can actually cause additional stress and make stress worse than where we started. With all of these studies looking at how snacking can affect stress levels, what can we conclude? For the most part, it seems like some sort of snacking can be beneficial for the reduction of stress levels, but only when the correct foods are eaten. What foods can we eat to reduce stress? Well, first, it might be a good idea to look at the hormones and physiology. Harvard Medical School talks about the physical and or emotional distress results in us craving high-fat, high-sugary food. They mention cortisol and insulin as being the reason as to why we crave those foods. This is most likely the physiological stress response that the body has for when it feels like it's about to fight or flight for its life. The body wants the most energy-dense foods so that it can store and use for later. But for most of us, present day never calls for an all-out sprint from a lion. So what can we do to help differentiate running from a lion and being stressed out over a bad text? There are a few things that we can listen to from our bodies. Smith and colleagues described emotional hunger as hunger that comes on suddenly, hunger that craves specific comfort foods, hunger that leads to mindless eating, hunger that leaves you unsatisfied after you're full. Emotional hunger is not in the stomach. And finally, emotional hunger often leaves you with regret or shame. Listening for these things and truly trying to understand why you might feel hungry can prevent you from overeating during a stressful event. One big way to do this is to limit your personal triggers that elicit these eating habits. This could be not carrying certain foods in the house or taking different away home from work so stress and the emotional eating associated with it can be reduced. What foods then should we keep in the kitchen just in case we need something to snack on during a stressful time? Cording wrote that popcorn can be a good snack as it is low in calories, only if you don't add butter, and is a high volume so it'll take longer for you to eat. Blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries are filled with fiber and great antioxidants. Pistachios are good to eat as they are high in healthy fats, fiber, and even some protein. Also, pistachios keep the hands busy, which may aid in stress reduction. Sometimes it may even be best to hydrate ourselves, as sometimes we mistake hunger for dehydration. The final topic that I will touch on is how to limit the possibility that your cravings will kick in and you mistakenly dive into the unhealthy cravings. These are very simple yet very effective tricks to keep your body and mind moving in the right direction. Healthline.com wrote that drinking water to make sure that hunger is not mistaken with dehydration, eating more protein to suppress your appetite, trying to distance yourself from cravings, planning your meals ahead of time to make sure you have food ready, and have no need to go to the local burger spot. Avoid getting super hungry, which, if you plan your meals, shouldn't happen often. Practice mindful eating to ensure that you're not eating more than your body needs. Get enough sleep, and eat proper and nutritious meals, such as following the whole foods plant-based diet. Following these steps will help keep cravings at a low and setting yourself up for success. So what is the final take-home message? Should we all snack when we feel the slightest hint of stress? Or should we do everything we can to resist eating? After looking at the data, we need to first address the stressor head on to start. If we try multiple other coping mechanisms, such as meditation, exercise, or journaling, and we know for sure that we are not dehydrated, then I say snacking can be a good idea. Only if, of course, we are eating the right foods that will benefit the body. Foods such as berries, nuts, vegetables, fruits, etc. These foods will give the body the proper nutrition and will keep the mind focused and stress reduced. If we fall too hard into snacking in the wrong high-fat, high-sugar foods, then we will all be causing more harm to the body by increasing stress and just making it harder overall for the body. All in all, snacking can be a good thing if it is done appropriately and with control. I hope this video is beneficial for you, and thank you for watching.